My name's Olivia Haynes, and I'm a independent game developer and 3D artist.
Olivia, you're working on a game that's called Surf Club. It looks like basically nothing else that I've seen that's come out of Australia. It's got a beautiful sort of pastel aesthetic. Tell me a little bit more about what people can expect from Surf Club.
Surf Club is going to be, well, it is a coming of age adventure game where you play as a woman named Holly who's in her early 20s and she's returning to her hometown to try and rekindle an old relationship. Um, and as the story sort of progresses and she explores the town and reconnects with the locals, she's sort of swept up in the nostalgia of it all, and she sort of has to come to terms with that and think about it and sort of decide, what to hold on to from the past and where to let go, I guess.
When I think about my favorite films and things and music and stuff, it's all about that experience of deciding exactly who you are at that point. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the inspiration behind writing the story of this game?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely inspired more by music and movies rather than games. I think especially since I'm 25, and as I was working on the story, it was a few years ago, and I was very much still in the sort of um, very consumed by like coming of age stories and getting a lot out of them, and just trying to figure it all out. And I guess because that kind of stuff was consuming my thoughts a lot, I was like, I should make a game about it. You know what I mean? Um, and I sort of, when I was younger, I guess I was very nostalgic for the past and like homesick, and I was worried while I was like in my uni degree because I went to game design. I was worried that I was like wasting my time, sort of, I guess, being caught up in the past and stuff. But I thought, this is just my life and this is my experience. Like I'll just use that to my advantage, I guess, and try and make something from that.
So kind of use it almost like get all your thoughts down on paper in a way, and then make an experience that other people can enjoy and perhaps relate to as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me a little bit more about your visual like design style and the way that you've put together the game, because it really does look like pretty much no other game that I've seen made in Australia. All of your games really have this amazing art style. What is the inspiration behind the look of Surf Club?
Yeah, well, I was really hoping that it would turn out as unique as it is because like one of the other things that inspired me to make the game was like I grew up in Queensland, and so thinking about how I haven't seen any games really set in Queensland, and I feel like it has very unique architecture and flora and like iconography. It has like a very distinct look to it compared to like other parts of Australia, um, like the coastal towns there. And so I thought I would, yeah, try and create something inspired by that with this like pastel, cute art style that I already have, and I think it's turning out pretty good.
I think people would agree with you there. Who is this game for? Who would you like to play it and experience? Is it people who are in their 20s who may have been going through the same thing? Is it people a little bit younger, perhaps, who might be looking forward to a story or thinking what it's like to be in their 20s? Who would you like to play this game?
Yeah, I guess people around the same age as me or younger who might be yeah, because I guess it focuses a lot on relationships, and it doesn't have to be like romantic. It can be like friendships, and when you're at that age, it's sort of you're all changing so much, and it can be hard to decide like what you want to take with you into your adult life, and what's better left as like a memory kind of thing. And I hope it resonates with people in that sense. I think that's a very universal experience, and I'm hoping it'll, yeah, people like it for that reason.
Um, you're still in the process of making this game, so there's still quite a bit of work to be done. What are some of the things that you are sort of working on at the moment to kind of build this world out and get people, an experience that they hopefully will remember for a long time?
Um, Trying to think. Well, at the moment, like in terms of like developments, I'm sort of in the process of getting a bit more of a team together to just help the game, be the best it can be. At the moment, it's just me and Ellie, my musician. And I'm really proud of the work we've done so far, but I think getting like just a few more people on, I could really make it the best it can be. Um, and I think some things I want to do is I'm pretty confident with the story, but there's sort of an adventure element to the game as well, where you're given like opportunities to explore the town, and I want to try and make that the best it can be as well. Like make the town feel as much as like like a character, like the rest of the actual characters. That was a weird sentence. I want the town to feel like a character as well. Like have as much interactions with the environment as possible. Things like collectibles. There'll probably be a surfing mini game. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Um, have you worked in larger teams for your projects before? Have you mostly been working by yourself? Because it seems if you look at the things that you have been doing previously on the game, it's just about everything other than the music and the sound.
Um, yeah, I haven't worked like for my own personal games. I haven't worked in any big teams, and I have a bit of experience working on like other teams and studios, but I'm mostly freelance and a lot of it working from home. So it's still a bit of a learning experience in that sense. Um, but I've had like a lot of support, and like even if I don't have a huge team, I have a lot of great people in Melbourne that I've been able to reach out to and get assistance from.
And for people who maybe want to start looking at getting themselves in the right frame of mind, what are some of the other pieces of media that can be music, they can be books or whatever that you reckon might give people a good idea about what the feeling of Surf Club might be when they get a chance to play it?
Um, I think a lot of the game's kind of inspired a lot by let's see, a lot of like indie music. I think that's sort of what a lot of the soundtrack is inspired by, and like a lot of 80s electro pop. I think both those genres of music, or like a lot of indie music, I feel like is about enjoying being young and like young romance and stuff. So I think that kind of vibe. I think the game, like visually, it's very inspired by like PlayStation 1 era games and like older RPGs. So maybe it'll evoke some nostalgia for that like era of games. Um, it's
For people who want to find out a bit more information, when can we expect to have a chance to play the game? And where can they find out more information if they're curious to learn more in the interim?
so I don't have anything currently lined up for when a playable demo will be available, but it'll definitely be next year. Um, I think because of the pandemic, things are sort of slowed down. Oh yeah, it's just been a bit of a difficult year. The game was going to be at PAX, but PAX was cancelled. But yeah, it'll definitely be sometime next year. And I just try and just post updates on my own personal Twitter, so that would be the best place to follow. And the website also has a mailing list for any like bigger updates.
Can you tell me a little bit what it's been like creating in this last year and a bit now? What your process has been like, how it's sort of felt to put stuff together?
It's been really hard, and I think I've had to sort of learn a lot about myself, not just because of the pandemic, but also just this experience going from making small personal games to something like of a much larger scale. It's it can be a bit of a struggle when not everything is fun or even like comfortable or anything like that, and you have to really push yourself to learn new things and do things you don't want to do. Plus, like yeah, with the pandemic on top of it, it's been quite a struggle, which is why I want to sort of get a bigger team together just to there's I don't know. I feel like some people like really romanticize the idea of like solo developers, but the reality is it's like people can really suffer like doing everything by themselves. Um, so yeah, I and also like it's been harder to get like inspiration coming in, not being able to leave the house or anything. So, yeah, it's been a struggle, but I'm grateful that I have been able to learn about myself more, um, and really figure out what my strengths are more, and what I want more help with the game.
I honestly think it's, anyone who manages to create anything during this year and last year as well deserves a gold medal, because it has been a really tricky thing to do, and honestly really admirable that anyone has been able to work as hard as they can, or take as time as they need to make stuff. So I'm sure I'm not the only person, but I'm very excited to see the game come out and have a chance to play it, and I'd love to see other people play it as well. Livia, it's been a real pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on to the Sifter Showcase. We appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you so much for having me.